I subscribe to Steve Schmidt's website. I guess it'd be a website. He writes a column called The Warning, and I think it's $50 a year, kind of like what it costs to subscribe to the Malloy podcast. Anyway, he headlined his column this morning with "Donald Trump is finally sinking." Well, I mean, you can understand how that immediately caught my eye, along with some applause on my part and some, yeah, all right, no shit. So I want to share with you what he wrote. It's not that long. Kamala Harris and Tim Walz fit together like a hand and glove. Perfect. This is the most natural and compelling ticket of my lifetime. I love it. Watching the vice president and Minnesota governor has exceeded all of my expectations. They're a great team. Sergeant Major Walz is going to devour JD Vance in their debate, possibly exceeding Lloyd Bentsen, Dick Cheney, and Kamala Harris as ass kickers. There's even a chance he could wind up melting JD Vance's eyeliner. I think the color is moonshine blue. Tim Walz pointed out the great connection that JD Vance shares with the average American. There is none. What a fraud. Meanwhile, Trump continues to melt down as his poll numbers drift downwards. There's a beautiful chart available from Nate Silver. The reason that Trump was winning was because the Biden coalition collapsed while the race became fundamentally about Biden. The reason Trump is losing now is because his coalition has collapsed and the race has become about him. The MAGA cause is lined up for destruction at the ballot box. Trump's coalition was sustained by fanaticism and apathy, a sense of hopelessness, dread, and resignation by his opponents is what gave him a lift. For a brief second, Trump became something that had evaded him all his life. He became a winner, and then it all slipped away. It disappeared into smoke. Trump needs to look like a winner to be a winner, and now he looks like a deflated Macy's Day Parade balloon. Mad, mad, mad King Donald, our dime store Mussolini, the wannabe Caesar and convicted felon who was dumb enough to attack Governor Walz over felons voting in Minnesota, is finally sinking. The ending appears to be somewhat anticlimactic and even boring. It has been scripted by Donald Jr., and no doubt involved no small number of conversations about the future Vance-Trump Jr. ticket in 2032. LOL. Now, Donald is riding off into the sunset, being tailed by an inauthentic fraud and genuine weirdo who dreams of a country in the desert where most men might hope for a sip of water. The Democratic ticket must laugh at, poke, mock, diminish, and call out the Trumpian strangeness at every turn while maneuvering through the door labeled better. VP Harris should build on the evident joy she has unleashed with the call to service. The armed forces need soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines, and Coast Guardsmen need men and women. The Peace Corps needs volunteers. America needs her young people. It's time for Kamala Harris to lick up JFK's unfinished business. This moment shows the resiliency of freedom and liberty. Democracy is a beautiful thing, and watching the Democratic ticket can't make even the most jaded feel but a bit idealistic. What a choice. What a ticket. MAGA is falling apart. What a good thing. All right. Just wanted to share that with you. Oh, and by the way, what he was talking about, who, this dumb bastard, the orange pretender, when he went after Governor Walz, Minnesota Governor Walz, because Walz allowed voting, I guess he got through a bill in the Minnesota legislature that would allow convicted felons after they've served their time to vote. And Trump went after Walz for doing that. But Trump is a goddamn convicted felon with 34 convictions. I mean, Trump is, in addition to being just a goddamn freak, he's just got to be the stupidest person ever to get the kind of attention the miserable bastard has gotten for the past 9 years. Just unreal. God, I'll be glad when he disappears. Hi, Truth Seekers. Mike Malloy here. The Progressive Voices Network brings you commercial-free commentary from today's leading progressive radio hosts and pundits, like me, Mike Malloy, 24 hours a day. I'm not your typical old guy from the 80s or the 90s talk radio host, and Progressive Voices is not your typical talk radio network. It's a listener-supported nonprofit with no corporate control whatsoever over our broadcast. So hosts like me, Mike Malloy, are free to rant and scream and carry on about whatever we like. We're often controversial, but we're never boring. Weeknights, 9 p.m. in the East, 6 p.m. in the West on the Progressive Voices Network. Always progressive, always on. I'm Mike Malloy. Keep it lit.